Hi everyone, welcome to Power Electronic Video Lectures. Myself, M. Krishna, working as Assistant Professor in Triple E Department, St. Peter's Engineering College, Hyderabad. Here in this video, I am going to explain DC Jonas chopper. This is the diagram of DC Jonas chopper, and we can see the diagram very clearly, which involves the two thyristors. This is main thyristor and this is auxiliary thyristor, and here is one inductor is split into two parts, and L1 and L2 two parts are there, and here is the L1 and L2 are closely coupled to each other. L1 provides sufficient energy to the load, and L2 is provides the sufficient energy to the capacitor, which turns off main SCR T1. Here we are going to use class D commutation to turn off main SCR. See, initially we are considering that the voltage across capacitor is having the polarities like this. Upper plate is positively charged and lower plate is negatively charged. And we are finding the two diodes in the diagram. This is one diode and this is another diode. This is we can call that as freewheeling diode. Freewheeling diode which provides the path for the inductor current. And the main application of this Jonas chopper is the speed control of DC motor. Here we can able to see the DC motor. It is a separately excited DC motor. And these are the DC motor parameters, means inductance and resistance. And we are going to use the DC supply to feed this entire configuration, and we are going to get the continuous current for the operating the DC motor. So Jonas chopper is an example of class D commutation, in which a charged capacitor, means the capacitor is initially charged. As I said, the upper plate is positively charged and lower plate is negatively charged, is switched out by an auxiliary SCR to commute the main SCR. Here the main SCR ratings are somewhat higher than the auxiliary SCR T2. In this circuit, SCR is the main switch, and the SCR1, and it is used to commute SCR1 by a reverse voltage developed across the capacitor C. The special feature of this circuit is the tapped auto transformer T, through a portion of which the load current flows. It is involves the operation, and when we see the working of this Jonas chopper, then we can able to understand very easily the why we are using the Jonas chopper for the speed control of DC motor. When T1 is on, means this is T1, then capacitor is discharged resonantly through T1, L1, D1. See, look at this, it's going to be discharged through T1. Here we are placing L2, not L1, L2 and D2. And this discharge current does not flow through the L1 part back to the battery because of transformation action of T. The load current is picked up by T1, this one, and the freewheeling D1 is reverse biased. And as the capacitor voltage swings to negative, the reverse bias on diode D2 decreases. When T2 is on the negative voltage, on the capacitor is applied across T1 and it becomes off. The load current, which is normally constant, starts to flow in T2 and capacitor C. The capacitor C is charged positively at first up to a voltage equal to supply voltage. The freewheeling diode become forward biased and begins to pick up the load current, and it's make the continuous. The capacitor current starts to decrease in that condition. After this, the energy will become half Li square in the inductance L2 is forced into the capacitor C. Charging is positively to half CV square. The capacitor current continues to decrease as a result. Current through T2 decreases gradually and becomes half. The cycle repeats when T1 is again turned on. So the entire operation we can able to understand by considering the waveforms for the DC Jonas-Chopin. Here it is very easy to understand, and we can able to see the voltage across thyristor T1, voltage across thyristor T2, and current flowing through the thyristor T1, current flowing through the thyristor T2, and the voltage builds up across the capacitor, and it is the load voltage. And we can able to draw the load current also, which is a constant one, which is already discussed earlier, and we'll see how the waveforms are happening and we are getting in the operation. Look at this. As we consider that the capacitor is initially charged, and whenever the supply is giving to this, the thyristor T1 is triggered here, then immediately the current is flowing like this into this inductor and through the load, means through the DC motor, and back to the source. This is one path. The another path is the current is flowing like this and coming to like this, and here we have the L2 portion. Through that L2 portion it is entering into D2 and back to this way. Means what? Initially the capacitor was charged like this, and it's going to be discharging this path also. Means what? It is going to be discharged first through this circuit. After that is going to be charged in opposite direction. Means this plate is going to be plus, this plate is going to be minus because of source current. So means that initially it has to be discharged, then after only it's going to be build up the polarities in opposite direction. Means the lower plate will have the positive charge and upper plate having the negatively charged. Due to that, what happened? Then these polarities, when we consider across the T1 and T2, so this is minus will be appear here, this is the plus, it is appearing here. So when we see these polarities across T1, they are going to be seems to be reverse biased, which makes the thyristor T1 off. And the same polarities we can apply across the T2 also, and this is a plus, this is minus, which is shown that the thyristor T1 is in forward bias, and when we give the gate pulse to thyristor T2, it is automatically on, and this reverse polarity which we have the capacitor is going to be discharged through T2, then back to source, and this way like this, back to the source, and having the closed path like this. Means the discharging path of the capacitor through T2 will take place like this: C, T2, L1, LX, RA, DC motor, and back to the source and to the C till the capacitor discharge. After that, this source feeding the voltage to the entire circuit, then immediately in the same direction the capacitor is going to be charged. Means the polarity is being changed after the discharging capacitor, and they are having the polarities upper plate positive and lower plate is negatively charged. And if this condition comes, automatically this positive charge means plus is when we are applying across the thyristor T1, this is becoming plus and this is becoming minus. Hence the voltage across thyristor will be positive, means forward biased manner, and when we apply the same across the T2, this will going to be reverse biased and going to be off. Means to make turn off T1 and T2, we need not any external circuit. The capacitor here is going to be placing vital role to make the thyristors T1 and T2 off with the help of what we call the help of L2 and D2. Then after the T1 is triggered, the operation repeat again. When we see the entire things in the waveforms also, so this is a voltage across the T1, means we are not triggering on the thyristor T1, that's why it is acting as an open circuit. Then we are getting the voltage as same as the supply voltage across the thyristor, and we do not have any voltage across the load because the thyristor T1 is opened. And initially, as I said, there is a voltage across capacitor, which we can see in the waveform also. This is a negatively charged one having the voltage minus Vc. And when we see the current through the thyristor, because it is not conducting, there is no current through the thyristor T1, and thyristor T2 is not at all considered in the operation. That's why we do not use this one. And we can say that if the polarities are opposite, then we can say it is in forward biased condition. It is going to be conducting in the duration. That's why the voltage across that thyristor will be 0. You can say this. And this is I2, IT2, and this is load current. So load current is absent totally because of entire current is load voltage is 0, because this input voltage all is appearing across the thyristor T1. Later on at T1, what happened is thyristor T1 is triggered during this operation T1 to T2, and it allows the current to flow because it's going to be short circuited, and voltage across short circuit is 0 and allows the current to flow to up to T2. And here is T2 is going to be turned off using the capacitor. Because of that, it takes some reverse recovery time to turn off, and the voltage builds up across the thyristor T2, and no current is flowing through T2 because it is opened. And as we know, the capacitor is going to be discharged initially, and it's going to be charged in positive side and having the polarities plus minus. And thereafter from T2 to T3, it's maintaining the values. After that, the T2, T3 to T4, the thyristor T1 is going to be off by the polarities across the capacitor. Then it takes some time to turn off because it is a reverse recovery time is happening for the making the thyristor T1 off. If the thyristor T1 is off, we can say that it's going to be open circuited, thereby there is no current flowing through the thyristor T1. And the same manner, the T2 is going to be on. Whenever the T1 is off, the T2 is going to be on, thereby there is no voltage across T2 because it's going to be short circuited having the 0 voltage or minimum voltage, and it allows the current to flow. That is what we call the current flowing through the capacitor and inductor discharging current, what we call. And when we see the voltage across the capacitor, see this, the capacitor is going to be discharged in reverse direction and reaching to 0, and it's going to be charge in reverse manner and having the polarities plus minus according to the operation, and it is reaching to minus Vs values. And when we see the output voltage, so when the thyristor T1 is conducting, the current is flowing through the load, thereby the output having some voltage from this point, and it's maintaining some spikes. But here we are going to use one inductor. In place of inductor, when you use the reactor, the voltage spikes can be neutralized. But the design of inductor for this circuit is difficult, and that's why you are going to use the inductor which is split into two parts. And as soon as the thyristors T1 is T2 is on, then again at a T5, when we see this at a T5, this is the T5, we are not at all getting any output, but the current is constant. Even though there is no output voltage, but the current is constant one, which we are getting because there is a freewheeling diode which supports the continuous current to flow through the load. And during this period, again it's going to be maintaining its value constantly. And here the thyristor T2 is on off, that's why there is a voltage across the thyristor, and this is going to be off, that's why we are going to having the voltage. And after that, again the thyristor T1 is going to be turned on, and due to that again the operation repeating, and we are getting the output voltage as same as this. But when you take the current waveform for the load, it's a constant one, we can see. This is all about the operation of DC Jonas chopper, and it is mainly using for the speed controlling of DC motors. Thank you for watching the video.